Rasmus Hojlund gets his first Premier League goal, his sixth goal of the season, and he wins it late for Manchester United. A sensational comeback completed against one of the title challengers, one of the best teams in the league this season, Aston Villa. A brace from young Alejandro Garnacho, and Man United end a run of such poor goal scoring form. But more importantly to me, showed fight. They increased the tempo. They ensured a better mentality in that second half. And the football was really good. There was some disallowed goals. United were sensational in that second half. The style looked good. The play looked good. But you know why that was all doable? Why that was all achievable? Because it was hard work. Tempo, work rate. That is what these Manchester United players gave us in the second half. Hard work. It's the most important element of any successful team. The system will only work if blood, sweat, and tears are given each and every single minute. That second half made me proud as a Manchester United fan. Proud as a Man United fan. If Ten Hag gets us playing like this more regularly, I'll back him. If the players work this hard, I'll back them. One swift does not a summer make. More is needed. But I'll give credit where credit is due. That second half performance was absolutely tip-top. It wasn't a comeback that we didn't deserve. We played well. There is sustainability if that level of performance, that level of work rate is delivered again. Absolute quality. I will praise it. It was absolutely sensational. The other element that's sensational is golden goals. We're sponsored again, as you can see, by BetMGM. Get the app downloaded. £2 million being given away every single Premier League match day. You can't end the match week 19. That's done. But for match week 20, which is only a few days away, get ready, get signed up, and try and win £2 million. More on that a little bit later. But wow, I was so impressed with that second half. So impressed with that second half from Manchester United. As I mentioned, the work rate was there. The energy levels were there. Bruno Fernandes, that is what I call a captain's performance. His pressing was out of this world. He orchestrated, he encouraged his team. He was pulling the strings on the ball. Marcus Rashford, who had been rightfully criticized this year, unselfish, working hard both in the attack and in the defense, instrumental in helping to start this comeback. Alejandro Garnacho, who, look, there's still elements for him to improve on. Much better on the right-hand side for me. Do you know what it really helped? Even the irony is he got in the position for a couple of cutbacks in the game, didn't do it. He's got to add that to his game. But he can use his left foot a lot better than Rashford can. I prefer him out on that side. Rashford has one main position he plays on the left, but he was great today, bagging himself a brace, very, very close to getting a hat-trick today. And we needed to start scoring more. We need more GA from him. A little bit better decision-making as well, but overall in that second half, he was on fire. Rasmus Hojlund today. I'm so glad of one thing Ten Hag did. When he made them substitutes, I was so scared he was going to take him off again. And I felt in other games recently, we need that focal point. We take him off because maybe he ain't playing that well. But our shape falls apart. So I'm glad he stayed on. I'm glad he persevered. And during the game, you can see the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's got Sean Mills waiting on miracles, trolling him. You've got Man United fans on his case, but in a very unfair way. And I was watching the first half, and you can see the weight of the world on his shoulders, the pressure of not scoring in the Premier League. Although he's the top scorer in the Champions League, that seems to have been ignored in the last couple of weeks. And there was times in the first half where his touch could have been better, times where he should have shot and he ended up passing. And that's a man who's lacking confidence. That is a man who is struggling. But the way he took that goal, that shot, that celebration, that moment of ecstasy, you see the relief, the release from him of pressure. And I believe you will now see a much better Rasmus Hojlund. We still need another striker. Doesn't rewrite what we need. It doesn't mean we don't need to buy anybody else, but you'll see a more relaxed Hojlund. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some more goals from him in the Premier League momentarily, in my opinion. I want to actually also, the first half we know was a shit show from set pieces. We defended awfully. The play was okay. The tempo was just slow. But I thought in the second half, I thought Johnny Evans and Varane as a partnership worked very, very well again. And I was really proud today of young Mainoo. He had a very poor moment against West Ham, which cost us our second goal, but didn't let any of that damage him, didn't let any of that impact him. And he grew into today's game. And he actually played a brilliant pass that broke the lines in the lead up to our equalizing goal, which kind of went under the radar. The replays didn't even show it. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant today as well as that game went on. And look, Eriksen played well. Everybody was good in that second half. Some important saves as well when it went to 2-2. The ball went down the other end and Onana was called upon, earning his money there. And I've said a lot of harsh things about these players and this manager in recent weeks when they have deserved it. And I stand by everything that I have said. But I don't have an agenda against a single one of them. My opinion on them ends up being wrong and they improve and we go to another level. If the manager stays and we become the team I want us to become, I'll just hold my hands up as a man and say, wow, I got that wrong. But I'm so happy that I am wrong. Because if I'm wrong, it means Man United are doing something right. And in the cold, hard light of day, that's all I care about, is my team doing well. So, look, well done to the manager today because it was a poor first half. But he stuck to the team. He managed to get into them and make them come out here and work hard and run. As soon as that tempo went up, it was a different Manchester United. He didn't make changes too early. I didn't think we needed to today. He kept Rasmus Hojlund on that pitch. He kept Mainoo in this team after his mistake. And overall, I think he got it absolutely right today. And I hope the players learn that when we play with tempo, listen, when we play with tempo, we're better than this Villa team that everybody's raving about. And rightfully so, because Villa are a good team. Man United, when we work hard, are better than this Aston Villa team. I absolutely believe that, especially at home. They were 2-0 up. You could argue they deserved it, but I'm watching them and thinking, are they really that much better? By the way, this is a team that battered Man City a few weeks ago. Look what we just did to them. The technical ability, we need to improve in certain areas. We need more strength in depth, I agree. But we don't work hard enough, we don't run enough, and we don't break our backs for this football club. That is what needs to improve at Manchester United. And very, very proud of that indeed. And yes, someone here says, "Oh, I beg you, pray Johnny Evans." I just praised him a moment ago. I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. And as I said before, this doesn't make up for being six. This doesn't make up for losing more since the worst start to a season since the 1930s. It doesn't make up for all the bad things this season. One performance, as I said, one Swift does not a summer make. But I will praise quality when I see it. The excitement in me is that we know this team can do this. We saw it against Chelsea. We saw it in one Carling Cup game earlier. Carling Cup, how old am I? EFL Cup, Carabao Cup earlier. We saw it today in that second half. This team can play ball. This team can play with tempo. I just want more of it. They've set the standard again. They've set a standard again and just gone and beaten one of the best teams in the league and come from 2-0 behind. Now, I now expect you're never going to get that every game, every week, home and away. It's impossible. It never happened in the history of football. But I expect more of this on a regular basis, especially at home. But as I say, Alejandro Garnacho, what a performance from that young man. He needs more goals. He needs more assists, and they're coming in abundance. And I am really proud of Rasmus Hojlund. I felt that the criticism of him has been over the top. I felt that people are using criticism against some of their favorite players that have now left the club, or individuals that are at the club that also get criticized, and have almost been using Rasmus Hojlund as the shield to defend their favorite players. It's been really hard to read it and look at it. The lack of supply, the lack of chances created for him. And of course, he needs to improve as well. And I've said that on many occasions. He needs to create more opportunities. He needs to be a bit more kind of proactive. And he was for his goal. He stayed alert. He was in the right space. You know, the way he swiveled and moved his body is a very difficult goal to score because of the angle of the ball and where he was positioned. But I was very proud that he's carried on working hard. He's been busting the gut every single game. He hasn't been allowing. His confidence has been damaged, but he hasn't allowed that to stop him from working hard. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. But that's goal number 6 for him now this season. Predicted 15 goals. I still think he can reach 15 goals in all competitions this year. He just needs Man United fans, in my personal opinion, to get behind him and to support him. Criticize him when criticism is necessary. But to use him as a tool to prop up fouled ex-players of this football club, He's so strange to me. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Some super chats here. I'm still waiting on a miracle to come. We need a miracle to save our season. But you know what? I'm talking about today in isolation, and I was very, very happy with that performance indeed. And I just want to say this, they're not even officially in yet, but look what the impacts that Jim Ratcliffe has already had. It's a bit of a joke. I don't actually mean that. How was your Christmas, Terry? Congrats on the win. My Christmas was lovely. Thank you, Obi. Very, very, very nice indeed. Family, friends, the kids loved it. And today, Man United winning today has made it even better. I'm not even going to lie. Excellent fight and comeback. Offside. Yeah, I mean, we're offside so many times today, but we got there in the end. Ask Lee what phase Emery is on straight facts. Yeah, I want to ask Lee about Unai Emery because since Aston Villa have been announced as title contenders by the world, they failed to win. They didn't win at home against one of the worst teams in the league, Sheffield United, and they bottled a 2-0 lead against Manchester United, who are awful. I wonder how much praise Unai Emery's going to get. Or criticism. Those two United teenagers saved Ten Hag's job. Yes, partly because they delivered. At the same time, Ten Hag also made decisions that were correct in that game that helped save his job as well, Pete, in my opinion. So I get where you're coming from. But at the same time, I think there's a couple of elements to that are true at exactly the same time. And I also wonder how many rivals would have been here if we'd have lost that game today. Where are you all at right now? I want to call out one bad thing as well, right? I don't understand why a foul wasn't given on Marcus Rashford from Martinez, the goalkeeper. All I've seen on my Twitter feed is it's a clean tackle, Terry. No one understands football anymore. If an outfield player on either side makes that tackle, that much velocity, that much aggression, that much power, whether they win the ball or not, if you follow through and hit the player, you're at least getting booked. You're never going to be like, if Douglas Luiz did that, he's getting booked. It's a foul. If Bruno or Mainoo's doing it, it's a foul. How the hell was the goalie allowed to do that? Why are goalies allowed to do those crazy things? It's beyond me. I want to call that out because no one's going to care. But for me, there we go. Jesus, Terry, Emery is better than Ten Hag. 6 finals for Emery. What has that got to do with anything? Where have I mentioned that he's better than him? What are you talking about? I never even said that. You're making stuff up now. Josh here says, Merry Rasmus. I like that. Merry Rasmus. So glad we got his game-winning goal in front of the Stretford end. Garnacho's willingness to attack inspires us. Perfect Ineos start. It certainly was. And do you know what I loved as well? I didn't want to jinx it by saying it. I thought he'd score today. And when we went to 2-1, I sat, he's going to get the winner. It's like written in the stars for this man to get the winner. And again, he passed the 007 nonsense because he scored very early on in his Champions League career. He's had a lot of unnecessary stick this season, and I'm glad he got the goal. Congrats, Terry. This might not last long. Ten Hag in. Listen, I'm not Ten Hag in right now, but if we started playing like this on a very regular basis from this point, I'd change my mind. Not because that's not what a flip-flop is. That is somebody who sees the situation change and says, okay, well, I'm behind it now because the football's getting better and we're improving. And I don't ever believe in changing something that's improving per se. But I haven't changed my mind after one good 45-minute period. I'll celebrate that. I'll praise that. I'll use that as a standard bearer and say, right, I want more of this. And we go from there. As I said before, I have zero agenda against Ten Hag. I don't dislike him. I don't hate him. I'm not triggered by 99.9% of the things he does. I just want Man United to succeed. I'm not convinced he can do it. But if he makes us play like today more regularly, then I'll get behind him. Why the hell wouldn't I? How are Villa third? They are crap. Villa are not crap. Aston Villa are not a crap team. They're not. Man United just came back and beat one of the best teams in the league this year. Let's not suddenly start rewriting history. Villa are suddenly this bad side that anybody can beat, because that hasn't been true all year. United beat them, suddenly they're a bad team. Come on now. This year says, oh, shut up, Terry. 19 league games, 1 goal. It's easy to be capping echo chambers hard after the Liverpool game. Springboard to better results, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I know you're a Liverpool fan, bro. I don't understand what you're talking about. I've criticized him for not scoring in 19 games. He hasn't actually played in all of those games, by the way. So it's not quite 19 for him. I've definitely criticized Rasmus for not scoring sooner in the Premier League. but he got leeway from me because, one, he scored 5 goals in the Champions League, which is a very difficult competition. So that buys him some time. I also felt the lack of creativity and the lack of effort in our team overall wasn't helping and wasn't supporting him. So it just felt wrong for me just to say, he ain't scored any goals, he's crap, I'm going to absolutely slam him. I also felt like he needed to be encouraged, just as Old Trafford did today, as opposed to attacked and slandered and gone after. I just felt that's going to help that young man a lot more. And I am going to praise it. That's not an echo chamber. But what have I said? I want more of it. I haven't said, well done, that's it, no more criticism for the rest of the season. I just think you're a little bit hurt because Man United won. I think that's what your problem there, right? There is, my friend. That can be the only thing, because nothing what you've said even comes close to what I've said, to be honest with you. This is typical Emery's management. At Arsenal, I saw this happen a lot. He takes a lead and then sits back and lets the opposition come up. Listen, there's definitely that element. Plus, winning football matches is harder when there's pressure. And suddenly, Villa are being discussed. Suddenly, Villa are on the airway. Suddenly, there is pressure on this team to win games. That's a different sort. You know, I've told you guys many times before, the reason why I don't put Harry Kane on ability, he's in there with every striker the Premier League's had. But when it comes to legacy, I don't put him near the Agueros and the Drogbas and the Henrys and the Rooneys, to name a few, because I saw them do it multiple times in title races, huge games when the pressure's on. And there's a different pressure suddenly when you're in a title race. There's a different pressure when you've got a massive game that could send you clear at the top or win you a league title. And until players and teams perform in that environment, they can never be greats. Never. And that's why we're seeing them struggle. Partly, in my opinion, is the pressure's got to them. Let's have a look at a few more of these super chats. Big win from the boy. The Ten Hag out people are going to wait till the summer because he's going to be staying. Happy for Hojlund. All the trolling the last couple of weeks, he deserved that goal. I completely agree, deserved that goal. And listen, I will only be criticizing the manager when he's doing things wrong. When we win games, I'm going to praise him 110%. I might not want him at the club, but I'm not part of the out mob. I'm not part of their group because they're man crazy. Emery is not a league coach. He's good in cup games, is what AMT says. Maybe a great fight, but they clearly look absolutely exhausted. I wouldn't look too much into it. The space Villa left was the same as in the Sheffield United game, looking weak. It's a fair point. I mean, they haven't played any more games than Man United have this year. So we've got injury problems galore. I don't think that's fair. I think Man United were the reason they look poor in that second half, especially. Man United just put Liverpool top. Thanks. Listen, I'm not even thinking about ramifications for the title race right now. I think it's almost a little bit irrelevant because I don't think Villa will win the league anyway. But I just care about my team. O'Malley here says, Onana was Villa's best player. Good win. I thought United would win the game because Villa have peaked. Emery did not respect United's pace in behind. I didn't think Onana was at fault really for either of the goals. You could argue he could have come out and caught the first one. I thought it was poor defending as well. Everyone lost their runners, so maybe. Second goal, no. That young man who got blocked off. And then the defenders are all standing still. I don't think the goalie can help that one at all. He then saved this later on in the game as well. Bobby here says, after all the bollocks Gabby Abungalhora has been talking, this feels so much sweeter. I told you all once. I told you all twice. I hope you well, Bobby Singh. The football gods exist. The football gods exist in every single capacity. They really, really do. Panel time now. We've got KJ here with us. We've got man like Cameron. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. And what a way to top off the last 2 days of festivities, KJ, with a brilliant second half performance, a brilliant comeback, and Rasmus no longer waiting for a miracle.
You know what? Let Cam go because I'm lost for words. I don't know what people say about that performance. Flipping out. Cam go, man. Let me think.
Hey. All right. Well, that was dope. It was a good game, realistically. I don't think we were as bad in the first half as some people were saying. I think we weren't great, but there were signs. Like outside of Villa's 2 set pieces, which set pieces for me, Jesus Christ. Like there's times where I'm like, why are we even giving away corners? Like, don't do it. It's basically a goal almost every time, it feels like. Outside of those set pieces, they didn't really threaten us. One thing I will say, I've been hard on Rasmus, and I'll keep to two things in the game that I saw, and before I get in the positive is, if he had timed his run properly, he gets the goal instead of Garnacho. Just saying, like, Rashford wasn't looking for Garnacho, he just put it in a dangerous area, and it was whoever got there first. But regardless, we move. I was really impressed with how we look. So this is the thing. Erik Ten Hag's been messing up because of his own faults. You see Eriksen and Bruno in midfield, and we look completely different. Mainoo, I love the kid. We just have balance when we have a proper creator beside Bruno, because we all know what Bruno is. Like, Bruno's the Hollywood passer. He's going to try to create. He's going to do whatever he can. He's going to take the wild shots. He's going to do the things that people get mad at him for. But when you have a person like Eriksen beside him who doesn't do all that shit, who makes the right plays, who looks for the right passes, who it hides it all. No one talks about Bruno. Like, Bruno looked great today because he's beside somebody who balances him out. And that's something we desperately need. Even, like, there's a lot of balance on the pitch today. You look at Delo with Rashford on the left-hand side, look great. Like, Rashford, I think the benching's over. I'm going to say that right now. I don't think he shouldn't be on the bench anymore. Garnacho should be moved to the right. You said it in your preamble. Garnacho looks way better on the right because he can use his left foot and his right foot. He was cutting in. He was looking fantastic. Every time we move forward, we were dangerous when it was Rashford and Garnacho on either side. There's pace. You knew there was power, and there's quality on each side. So you're kind of sitting there going, someone's going to do something from one of these sides. When it's Antony, you're like, okay, as soon as the ball goes to him, and we're done. That's the problem. As soon as the ball goes to Antony, we're dead on that side. So you don't even need a good right back, which we've been crying out for when it's Garnacho on that side, because you don't actually need to worry about the overlap and someone getting in across, because Garnacho can do it. So the second half, we were phenomenal, and it's kind of Erik Ten Hag getting out of his own way. Like, I get Rashford had to sit on the bench, but now it's time to figure that out. I think with the midfield, you cannot start Scott. I'm sorry, like, that's it. He scored you the goals. Do not start Scott for the rest of the season. I hope Eriksen can stay fit. If you can find somebody in January, you probably won't. That'll be decent. Bring them in for the midfield. Mainoo, that's it. His blooding in period's over. He should be starting. So we're starting to see now the players who should be there. Our defense is still suspect. The second goal was on both defenders, Evans and Varane. No idea what they were doing. I think our defense is still suspect in the middle there, knowing our options are Maguire, Varane, who looks like he doesn't really want to be here anymore. And then you think about Johnny Evans, who great block today, but the man's 36. There's a few moments where I thought he was dead out there on his feet. All in all, though, to break it down, I think we played a great game. I think the second half, I said to my boys going into the half, we're going to tie this game. To, like, some of my betting, I'm like, we're going to at least get a draw here, because it felt that we were threatening. When I look at Rasmus, though, I'm happy he got that goal. And I think
we'll come on to Rasmus in a minute. I want to go back to one of your earlier talking points. Eriksen today. Yeah. And I think that he had one of those games where I don't necessarily look at him and go, like, he dictated everything and he wasn't the standout. He was like the gravy on a roast dinner, like the gravy on your Christmas dinner. You could have the nice meat, you could have the veg, everything could be perfect. But without the gravy, it isn't going to taste the same. And he, as you say, he balanced out Bruno. It's the best Bruno performance I've seen in a long time. It's because he's in that team. McTominay can't do any of that. Can't do any of it. And it brings the team absolutely alive. And I know he's been out injured, so that doesn't help the manager. But this is where I look at him now and say, not only do you need to play him when fit, but at the same time, you know what you need to go and buy if you're staying here as manager is more ball playing midfielders who are better at retaining the ball. And if you could find someone like Eriksen, who's also got the athleticism as well, because that's still what we lacked in this team. There's still a lack of speed and pace at times for us to damage people with. But I do agree with you. I think he really helped change Manchester United today. What did you make of the midfield combination that we saw today, KJ, with McTominay dropping out?
It's been what we've been calling for the last month and a half. Like, we realized very early on that this McTominay, like, making the midfield around McTominay is just never going to work. He's not consistent enough. He doesn't score enough goals. He can do it every now and then, but he doesn't control the game. He's not a dominant physical force in the midfield either. So there's so many different reasons why you shouldn't have McTominay as your main piece in the midfield, and having Mainoo and Eriksen in there, it was a breath of fresh air. The first half, I don't want to chat about it, but in that second half, if we're just going to highlight that half in just isolation, that is what you want to see from that midfield. Kobe Mainoo was cleaning up. And the thing is, when he would win the ball back, he was just passing it and delivering it to the right areas. And that's what I love about the kid. Plus Eriksen, who's a bit more expansive than Mainoo at this moment in point in time, making some really good balls. I can deal with that. That's the midfield balance that we've been needing. Now you've got Amrabat, you've got Casemiro, and you've got Mount. When they all come back, then we got to see again what this midfield potential could look like. But all I'm going to say is this. Kobe Mainoo is the one that we should be planning around. Full stop. I know you can say that's a lot of pressure for a young kid. You can't play every game. And I'm not saying play him every game, but start your planning from now to be like, all right, cool. How do we get the best out of this young man when he plays for Manchester United? Because he's the future. He had athleticism. Yeah, he can read the game. He can play. He's got the composure on the kid. Is amazing. And when you've got Eriksen and Bruno next to him, he can just do his game, and you're not too worried because you know you've got a ball playing player in Eriksen next to him, and you've got an advanced playmaker in Bruno, so he doesn't have to feel like he has to do everything. That's what happened with Pogba. Pogba, we made him do everything. He has to defend, he has to pass and dictate, and he has to score goals. This is what balance can look like. We need better players for it. We need better than Eriksen. We need better than Bruno. We need better than Mainoo to help him. But I can deal with that kind of midfield. I can deal with. I don't need to see Scott McTominay starting midfield ever again at Manchester United. It's done. Like, please.
Yeah. And I understand. Look, I think Mainoo is someone that we have to look at as a serious player for the here and now and the future. We have to improve on what Eriksen is in the market. But you saw a template. We're a better team with an Eriksen in our side. And I like Scott McTominay. I don't dislike him. He works hard for the club. He runs. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, and I love all of that. And I don't mind what he came on and did today. I think when he first came on, it was an element of we need a winning goal, so let's bring him onto the pitch. I think that's where you utilize him. Yes, even if he comes on and scored another brace today and we win, doesn't mean you start him for the next 4, 5, 6 games. We need to be smart. We need to be clever. We need to understand who is of the right level and who is not. But I thought, again, I agree with you. I think young Mainoo was excellent today and just got better as the game went on. And I'm glad the manager is now playing him more regularly because we are never going to know if he's good enough unless he's tested. We're never going to know he's good enough without playing him on a more regular basis. And we did that today. So, yeah, someone here says, stop it, Terry. McTominay is not good enough. Now, again, sometimes I don't think you guys listen. That's exactly what I just said. So I don't mind him coming on with an impact sub, filling a few holes every now and then, but starting him week in, week out, he's never going to be of that level in my personal opinion. Before we move on to Rasmus, I wanted to ask you both about Garnacho today because, again, he's had a lot of criticism recently for a young man. Moved on to that right-hand side today, KJ. Come up with a brace. Had some brilliant moments in the game, really run the show for us today against a very good and successful team this year. What did you make of young Garnacho's performance?
That's what we've been wanting from him, man. All of our attackers all season. Just constant threat. Just be a constant threat. Look like you're going to be scoring goals. Score goals, but also look like you're going to create something. And he did that today. And I'm very, very pleased with his performance today. His first goal. Hey, listen, he's in a desperate place. He's just trying to make sure that he gets into the spot to score the goal. So he's offside. He took it well. But then he kept going, and that's what we needed. He just kept going and going. In the last few weeks, his head will go down. All of our attackers' heads will go down, and we don't get anything. Today, he showed that he can do something for the team. Keep him out on the right-hand side. We too often, with our younger players, when they do well, we start moving them around all over the place. We've seen it with Rashford. We've seen it with McTominay. We've seen it with Pogba. We've seen it with all these players that come through United. We've seen this get moved around. Stop moving him around. I know he may want to be a left winger, but just keep him on the right. Mold him into a right winger that we need. And then occasionally play on the left-hand side because he does more for us on that side. He switches his game up way more than Rashford does, way more than Ante does on the right-hand side. He's trying to create, he's trying to score, and he's direct. And he can actually beat a man on the outside when he's on the right-hand side, which is really important for us to do. So he's been good, man. We just need that consistency. We just need some more performances like this and better ones as well, because it weren't perfect. More better performances from him as well. And we've got a good player. We've got a very decent player. He's been gone through a lot of criticism, and I understand it. But young players are going to be inconsistent. So we need to support him in that sense. Go and make the right-hand side your own. That's what I would say. Mold him into the player that you need him to be on there.
What do you make of him on the right-hand side? Is this something which you think it maybe just worked today, or is this something you think the manager should now work on to improve for United moving forward?
You don't have another choice if you're the manager, in my opinion. Like, we know, we've seen Rashford on the right. It's not it. Rashford is better on the left. Like, as much as people like to drag Rashford and come down on him, he's a better player than Garnacho at this stage in their careers. In a few years, could Garnacho be better? Yeah, probably. It's possible, but people forget he's 19, right? So I think he's 19, or is he 20 yet? Has he turned 20 yet? He's still 19.
19 year round now.
Yeah, he's still 19, right? So I've never really come down on him when he's not playing well, because I kind of, it's hard to. You can't expect somebody who he's already overachieved, in my opinion, in his age bracket for a player playing at United as early he's been thrust into the situation he's been in. I think the manager, to answer your question fully, should be focusing on, okay, if this, from what I'm seeing here, from how I'm seeing how he played on the right, could we turn him into a proper right winger who can play both sides? He can do left or right. If you have a better left winger, then you play the better left winger, right? And right now, he's, out of all of our options, easily the best on the right-hand side. His runs, his pace, like, the kid is rapid. He is so fast. And he had a few moments where he showed power today. There was that one moment where he I can't remember who it was, but it was a good ball from Delo, and he dropped his man, and it was just shrugged him off, and he went and he kept his head on. He went on to score it. I think the moments that we need to, and this would be the Rasmus thing, is he sometimes, when he's feeling himself, he's not looking for anybody else. And as a winger, you got to look for people all the time, even when you're on. So the second goal saved him, because he doesn't score that second goal. All everybody's talking about is him not passing to Rasmus for the other one, but he's always getting into the right positions. If you look at today, he was like, even the offside goal, right? He was modelly. He mistimed his run a bit, but that he was perfectly, for me, in the right position in that moment. So I'm loving him on the right side. I think every time I've seen him play on the right-hand side, I've always thought, why don't we do more of this? Like, every single time. He's done it a few times, and we go back to Anthony, and I was like, just play him there and keep Rashford in his proper position, because we just know trying Rashford up top, moving him left, right, that's not him. So yeah, man, I want to see him there for the foreseeable future. And you have Anthony, who you can bring off the bench when he's tired or cramping up.
Yeah, to see out games and be a right wing back. That's what
exactly, because that's what he does well. He tracks back.
Anthony came on, won the ball back brilliantly, and you're like, drive at the goal and shoot, and then he tries to square it back.
He falls over himself and stuff.
It was annoying.
Eriksen's
yeah, I like Garnacho. I really, really, really liked Garnacho on the left, on the right hand side today. I felt two things when he cut. It isn't just our players that do it. Our wingers have been out of form. I've seen this with Arsenal a lot this year. It's become predictable what wingers at the moment do. They all cut onto their strongest foot. And I actually want to see more go. I just want to see my team go more on the outside. I don't know how much work defenders are doing on fullbacks are doing on defending players going on their outside, because most clubs use an inverted winger. So there's an element of trying to catch teams out a little bit here. Of course, they'll learn that we're doing it after a while, but I want to see that experiment, if you want to call it that. Secondly, I feel as a young player, as he's learning his game and he's being nurtured, it's easier to go on your outside and use your stronger foot. Equally, he can still cut in on his left and use that if he wants to shoot, but it might encourage him to go on the outside a bit more regularly, because today he should have squared the ball at least twice to Rasmus, who was in good positions, or Bruno that was coming in. So I want to see that area of him improve, but he just gave us balance today. He really gave us balance today, which I think for me was important. We have been so heavily weighted on that left-hand side now for 5, 6, 7 years. It almost makes us predictable. If we could get to, and I thought Sancho was going to be this for us, and I'm still gutted it hasn't worked out with him. But what I've been screaming for a while is I want to be strong, dangerous, and potent down both flanks. I want to have two wide players, just like Liverpool did at their pomp with Mane and Salah. Now, I'm not claiming Garnacho is on their level, But the example I would give is that danger. When we recently played Bayern Munich, the danger on both flanks they have. Speed, quality, directness. If we could get to that point where our left hand and our right hand side are both dangerous, and I don't think I'll get to a Bayern Munich level. I don't think we'll get to a peak Liverpool at this moment in time without buying people. But it makes us harder to guess. It makes us harder to cope against. And I saw that balance today. And as I've already said, I'm not getting carried away with this. I don't think, right, that's it now. Garnacho is going to be at this level every single game for the rest of his Man United career. But I feel like it's a benchmark for us. It's a standard bearer that, okay, well, that worked really well. What I now want to see from the manager is him stick to a lot of what worked today. We've mentioned the midfield. We've mentioned Garnacho. Now, I wanted to say this to you because, guys, Rasmus stepped up and got his goal today. And I don't know about you guys. How relieved, KJ, were you personally when he scored?
Oh, I was so happy for him. The way that he celebrated, I was just inside. I felt like that because I'm like, you have been grinding and grafting for that goal. And what's funny, that goal was flipping amazing, by the way. Like, from a technical standpoint, to take it on the volley and with that body shape to curl it into that corner from a deflection off a defender as well. Brilliant striking technique, brilliant finishing. And I'm like, of all the chances that you've had to try and score your first Premier League goal, you scored this one. Probably one of the hardest chances you've had to try and score. But this one makes me realize, I already knew this. Give him the ball in the box. Give him the ball in the box and he will score goals. And we've just been lacking doing that. And I'm so happy for him. And hopefully this gives him the confidence, not just him personally, but the team as well, to be like, yo, this kid has got something. He has got something. He knows where the onion bag is. He just needs a chance to put it in. And I hope Ten Hag realizes the problems that we've been having with the build-up, problems we've been having with the chance creation, and fixes it so this guy can get in the box more to score more goals.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Go on, Cam.
I'm of two minds. I do think he's good. I think he'll come good. I don't think he's proven he's good enough yet. For a few reasons. There's still runs where I'm like, you're just a bit the timing. And I think this is going to come in like year 2, year 3, where once it's like there's that Rashford cross for the header. Timing was just off. I thought the Garnacho goal was his. I was like, oh, that's a tap in. Nope. He's just behind the ball. But the goal he took was fantastic. And I do think he was hard done by when Garnacho took that shot on instead of I'm like, okay, there it is, done. And Garnacho tried to take the shot on. So he saved himself by scoring. I think there's something there. I think I love his power. I do like the fact that he's not afraid of Premier League defenders. I think sometimes he's overzealous though. I think there's some moments where all our team lived offside today, by the way. It wasn't just him, but there's a few times where I'm like, he's trying so hard. So this is what I'm hoping is that today's goal, because I think there's an element of when you're relaxed and when you're just not trying as hard and it's natural, things come naturally. I think in the moments we're seeing him right now, it's all sort of, no, I'm trying so hard. I need this goal. I'm doing whatever. So you saw the relief today and I felt it too. Yeah. That's the inspiration. I was screaming with him. And I think we'll see, hopefully he's going to play naturally.
Yeah. On your point on the runs and the timings and stuff, like literally, I honestly just believe it's him getting used to this team and the lack of consistency as a whole within the system, with the players he's playing with the type of goals we're trying to score as a team. Everything doesn't help a striker, like he's a young guy. If he came into Man City's team or Liverpool's team, he will probably, the runs that you're thinking of or the mistimings that I don't think it'll be much of an issue because he knows that Salah's here, I'll run this way and he's going to give it to me, or De Bruyne is going to be coming in, boom, ping, I can make that run.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think he has a nose for goal. Like, to be fair, I think he can be, like, I do think he has a nose for goal. Like, a lot of the times when he does hit strike a ball, I think we talked about this early days, it looks good. He looks like, it's like when he hits the ball, when he strikes the ball, it looks like there's something there. He doesn't look awkward. He looks like a striker. He's powerful. The guy's a monster. I can't wait to see when it all comes together. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm not trying to trap and dump on him. I just want to see it come together.
I really rate him ability-wise, but he's very young. He's 20 years of age. I think he turns 21 in February. He's only played about 80 league games in his entire career, and only 32 last season for Atalanta and 15 appearances for us have been at the elite end of the spectrum. So he's had about a season's worth of games at you call the top end. He's under 21 years of age. He has 16 goals and about 15 appearances in that time. And there's a rawness there. And I think that I would have loved to have seen him purchased by Man United alongside a Harry Kane, not to play together, but to have been in the team, to have been in the squad, in the same way that you've seen Alvarez being nurtured, for instance, at Manchester City. Now, I know Haaland is also young, but Haaland is an anomaly. He is an exception that proves the rule.
Well,
the same as
Keep this. Ollie Watkins, right? I'm sure there's lots of Man United fans out there that'd be like, we'd rather Ollie Watkins than Rasmus Hojlund. I'm not one of them. I'm not saying that. The man's 27 years old. We watched him in the Prem have kind of similar issues where it was like, oh, he's just not finishing in front of goal. Yeah. And then this year he looks fantastic. He looks like a striker. It takes time, and people need patience with a player like Rasmus Hojlund. As long as he's doing all the... So this is the thing. I will say with Martial, I was out on him fairly early as a striker because I'm like, he just doesn't do the things I want from a striker.
Hojlund, yeah. No, I
expect.
No, I make you right.
Come together like I'm using Watkins as an example because it took him 2-3 years.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, not the only one. You can look at Solanke, you can look at Wilson, Callum Wilson, all these guys.
And this is it. And this is why Man United fans were annoying me these last couple of weeks. I get rivals doing it; they're kind of meant to. I get criticizing Rasmus Hojlund, but Ollie Watkins is an example. When Ollie Watkins was at this stage of age-wise, he was playing in League Two. Yep. So I'm not saying I'd love to be good enough to play at League Two, but Ollie Watkins at Rasmus Hojlund's age could not be leading the line for Man United. He was playing in League Two. So I understand wanting maybe someone like Ollie Watkins, who's 27 and experienced and has more know-how right now, but not at the behest of... That's the wrong way to word it. But have that and develop Rasmus Hojlund at the same time. The way some Man United fans' minds work, everything's so singular. Everything's so singular and so binary and so basic of, well, I want better than Rasmus, so fuck him, let's buy someone better. Well, no, how about we buy someone better and also help develop him? But he's young. The same way I thought, we all put our arms around Martial at that age. We'll put our arms around Pogba when he came back at that age. They need time. They need support. It's weird how quickly certain Man United fans turned on this guy and ignored. And I'm not saying he was ever exempt of criticism, but it was a case. This guy was on average getting the ball passed to him 6 or 7 times per game, the lowest in the Premier League. And that was being ignored but we've got to have difficult conversations about him. I'm like, what do you mean? He's a 20-year-old who is being developed. We're going through the mire right now, acting like, yes, if we'd have bought someone, but if we'd have bought Harry Kane, we probably would have scored some more goals. There's no doubt about it. But that's not Rasmus Hojlund's fault. Why? It doesn't negate what Hojlund is. So yeah, it's really, really important. It really, really, really is important to me that conversation happens. But I was really proud of him today, and I hate it when we take. I know he can't always play for 90 minutes every game. But I hate it when we take him off, especially if Martial's not in the squad, because we completely lose our shape. And I was scared he was going to take him off today.
He was going to if Rashford was okay. That's the problem.
Yeah, maybe. And
he got lucky, I think.
And that's why, for me, but we'd already, when Rashford came off, when it was already, when did Rashford come off?
It was 2-2.
Yeah, 2 minutes before his goal. And that was it. He has to keep him on. Especially if we're not winning games or we need a goal, because it's not even about him scoring. We lose our shape. We don't look as good without him in the team. And I think that's really, really important. Viewers, hit the like button for us. Make sure you are subscribing as well. Prime here says, someone timed me out earlier. I went to comment and it said I was timed out. Pure hate and anger, all the praising my team. There's a reason why they fear me. No one fears you, Prime. You just write some nonsense. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's when you come for people, that's when they block you.
Because you just talk, because you'd never say it to anyone's face because you're a troll. So you get blocked a little bit. Some more super chats here. Can someone please tell Rashford, Man United's best attacker and player today on the pitch? You think Rashford was the best on the pitch today?
I think honestly, outside of obviously Garnacho scoring the goals, if you think about almost every time he touched the ball, he made the right decision. He drove at the defense. He put them on the back foot. I said during the game, I'm like, okay, look who, like, most of the crosses came in from him. Like, he had 3 or 4 crosses that came in across to Garnacho. The ruled out goal should have been an assist. He had the one that would have been a header for Rasmus if he timed it right. He had the assist. Like, realistically, every time he touched that ball, he put them in danger. And that's the Rashford that we all know is there. Don't see.
He had a good game today.
He had a great game. I loved him.
Yeah. No, listen, I thought it was interesting in the first half watching him. Body language wasn't good. Nobody's was good. There was all this pressure on the team. But as we started scoring, I think that pressure was being relieved, and you saw them come out. And look, if we've got any chance of improving, we've either got to buy better than Rashford or hope Rashford gets back to his best. Again, I have seen people in the last few days say, basically saying, I hope Rashford doesn't improve when the new owners come in and starts working harder. And I sat there and thought to myself, so you don't want us to improve? It's so weird. Like, who doesn't want Rashford to get back to what he was doing last year? If you're a Man United fan, why wouldn't you want that? It's very weird to me to not want your team to be better. This is the history of the Emery, is what Mike says here. Thanks for helping your second team out today, Terry. I don't have a second team. I only care about my team winning. I'll tell you that now.
Nobody actually thinks Villa's going to win the league.
Nah.
Take that, Gabby. My Bromley boys, man. Leave them.
Take that, Gabby, from TalkSport. Talk that Lee Gunner, all saying how Villa and Hopkins are going to beat us. Who's Hopkins?
I think you meant Watkins.
Watkins, all right. Are going to beat us. Yeah, I'll be chatting to Lee tomorrow. I'm sure I'll get called out for being a hypocrite again. But you praise the manager after you win him out. Yeah, I don't have an agenda. I'll praise him when he does something good. Because the hypocrite would be not doing that when I've called out people like Lee for not being happy when good things happen. So again, it's the opposite of being a hypocrite. But for some people, that'll be twisted into being a hypocrite. It's very weird. Let the narratives loose tell. I don't know what that means. I mean, you said we blocked your super chat. It's there on the screen. I don't understand what you mean. I don't get the super chat either, but there we go. First time Hojlund scored in the game United have won. That is crazy stat. That is a crazy stat.
Mm-hmm.
If Villa want to be considered serious title challengers, surely they shouldn't struggle against minnows. Last week, they also struggled against Sheffield. Now Man United. Thoughts, panel?
No, it's true. Honestly, the way that we play and the form that we're in, we are a relegation team, and our goal is flipping to stay up in the flipping league. So yes, they should be. They should be destroying us. But they didn't.
It's the Prem. Everybody struggles against everybody at some point in the league. I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen like Luton beat Liverpool this year. It happens, which is why we watch this league.
Almost beat Liverpool.
Almost beat. My bad. I can't. Who did they beat? They beat somebody they shouldn't have beat. It was Chelsea.
Newcastle. It was Newcastle. They beat last week.
Beautiful. Yes.
Prime says here, I'd never look him in the eyes or anything like this. And Prime, DM me on Twitter, and I will send you my work address, and we'll see if you turn up. I'll give you my work address. In fact, just follow me on Twitter, and I'll post my work address on the internet because it's public anyway. Come to my work, and we'll have a chat. Let's see how much of a big man you are, brother. I'll give you my address. Come to my house. I'll send you. I'll send location, bruv. I'll send location. There we go. I bet you don't DM me at all. Guarantee you. We're going to take some calls now. Where we've got YUFCs here, but we've also got man like Saif as well. What are you saying, Saif?
I'm good, man. Listen, if you want to, I can't come to your house, man.
Not you. Not you.
Yeah. Listen, one more thing I want to say. I want to call out Lee Gunner. And I'm going to say, Lee Gunner, be a man and don't be a coward. Come and challenge me on Arsenal. I do know about Arsenal Football Club. So be a man, don't be a coward. And stop showing your pictures at the back saying these legends have been great. Okay, these legends will never come back again. So for once, have some respect on Arteta, and Arteta would win the Premier League this season.
Okay, cool. Let's get off of Arsenal. What do you want to say about Man United?
Man United, well, good win, but Ten Hag out. Ten Hag is a bald head, egghead. He needs to resign. Right? We need to sack him immediately. Jim Ratcliffe, sack him and bring Graham Potter immediately.
Oh, bro, man.
Graham Potter? Why Graham Potter?
Okay, Mr. Flores and KJ. I'm going to talk to you like a 5-year-old child here. Manchester United are sinking ship. We need to get rid of this squad and rebuild a whole new squad. Graham Potter is the only person who can rebuild this whole squad. And in the next 18 months to 2 years, then we can go for a quality manager like Zidane or Carlo Ancelotti. I'll give this view to you or to KJ, please. Give an answer.
Why not just get the quality manager first and let him do all the building?
Because these players are sinking ship. They're rubbish. There's no point in getting quality players.
So why? So wait. So why get a average manager to get rid of average players to get better players to then fail because he's average? When you can just get the best manager available and then buy the best players and they get better.
Look, I kind of get your point around maybe you don't need, we can't attract world-class managers straight away. But why Graham Potter? What is it about Graham Potter that can do the rebuild?
Because Graham Potter can get these people playing to a certain level. Because at the moment,
based on you're not answering the question. What are you basing that on? Cite me a point, a case in point to back that up, please.
Okay, I'm going to back it up. At the moment, Manchester United don't have a good coach. If you're going to bring a decent,
forget Man United. You're going to back it up.
Yes.
Tell me tell me what record Potter has got of rebuilding a giant club. Show me what does his CV say that he can do it?
Well, I mean, his CV says he built Brighton FC football club, but Brighton FC is a big football club in the Premier League outside the top 6. You can't tell me that. I mean, behind Newcastle, Brighton is a big club. Look what he has done to Brighton. Forget about Chelsea.
So I don't think you can compare Brighton to them. Why UFC's here as well? What are you saying, bro?
Can you guys hear me, or am I breaking up?
No, I can hear you just about.
No, I mean, well, what a game. I mean, the comebacks is what we live for as Man United fans, man. Like, it's not about the game. It's about, winning just like that. Rasmus Hojlund getting the goal. I think at the end of the game we had 8 academy players on the pitch. I mean, I know things are terrible right now. Things are not great, and during the game, I was cussing at Man United. We were terrible. And about like the first 35 minutes, we were horrible. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm still believing in this manager. If we can perform like this, just consistency is all I beg for. Let's build on this. There is something there that we could build on. We just need to build on it. Like, I don't think I'm asking for much as a Man United fan. Like, I know the ability is there. I know this manager can do it. Then just do it. And it's easier said than done, but golly, I think, what's crazy is we do it today out of all days, against Villa, against a team that listen to the commentator. They said when they went ahead, they haven't even dropped a single point. We were 2-0 down for Manchester United team that we didn't barely score in the last 3 games. We didn't even look like scoring a goal to score 3 goals and to come back like that. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just buzzing right now, and I just pray that we just keep up this momentum. Just build on it, one game at a time. And at the end of the day, nothing is ever bad. Nothing is ever bad, and nothing is ever great. It's all about perspective. If we build on this, the second half of the season, there's a lot of football to be played. Let's crack on. Let's push on. Come on.
Where I agree with you 110% is I hope this is a standard bearer. I hope this is a benchmark, and we go on from this point. And if we perform how we did in that second half, in 85-90% of our games, we will become a dangerous team. There is no doubt. We were very, very good indeed. We have got to buy more. We have got to improve in certain areas, but I was very, very impressed with that. Am I convinced this team, this squad and manager collectively can do that? I am not right now, but I hope what you're praying for comes true. This isn't about me being able to say, I told you weren't good enough. I don't ever want to have to say that. I want to do a video where I say I was wrong. I'm so glad he's here. I'm glad Man United have improved, and I'm glad Man United are moving in the right direction. 110%. I agree with you on that, my friend. Yes, Saif, what are you saying?
Just one more thing, Terry. Who do you want to replace Ten Hag?
It's a really good question, and I'm not going to answer it until I know what the sort of.
No, I mean,
I'm going to
just let me know.
Safe. I'm in the middle of answering your question. If you do me the courtesy of letting me finish, depends on what we're going to do as a club. It depends whether if we're going to continue with the short. I've got to mute your line because it's getting feedback whenever I try and talk to you. I don't know why. It's obviously anyway. Right. If we're going to do short-termism, then we've got to get a short-term manager like a Conte. That's what we'd have to aim for. There's no point bringing in a project-style manager if we've not got a project. It's stupid. However, if we're
never bring Conte. Conte's advice. I told you.
I'm still talking, Saif. The point I'm making is it depends on what we are going to do as a club, the style of football that we're going to have. So I don't have a candidate in mind per se, because we need to fix the root cause problems at the club first. So when I'm saying I don't want him to remain here, it's a prerequisite that we fix all the other elements as well, and we don't just go out there and pick the wrong person again. That is key. Let's go to super chat here. It says, Saif, to be honest, bro, you just stole that idea from Ransom Bance. He said Potter. Oh, did he? Oh, you just stole it, did you? Why does Rance want Potter?
I don't know why anybody would want Potter. I'm not going to lie. Like, at the end of the day, like when we talk about managers, and we've had this conversation over and over, and you said exactly what I'm feeling is, let's see. Like they were there. They were in the crowd. They were watching. They see what's up. So let's wait and see when the dust settles and it's official and they can start making the right movements and identifying who the people are. People are like, oh, I want the Derby. Okay, I mean, Brighton looks good, sure, but hey, is he going to have all his players? Is he going to be able to do the right things? Everyone's like, oh, I want Zidane. Zidane said he doesn't want to come to England. So who is the right manager at the moment is a very difficult conversation to have, because there's really not. It's like when we were going for Erik Ten Hag, there was a clear him or Poch. We all knew that, right? And everybody with a brain wanted Erik Ten Hag, and it turns out that at least that was the correct choice. Like if we're going to compare the two and how they're doing, Erik Ten Hag was the right choice. But right now, when you look around the world, I don't know about you guys, I don't follow managers enough. Who's ringing alarm bells? Who's saying, yo, come get me, I'm the next guy? Is there
the only one is Xabi Alonso, but that's also very early. That's very much like an Arteta signing.
Again, it's if our structure at the club was really good, if over the last two managers we actually built a structure, there was a style of football that was here, then you might turn around and go, actually, I want it to be De Zerbi. Although he hasn't won anything yet, his style of football is really good, and with better quality players and more money, I think he can go to another level. But I wouldn't put De Zerbi right now as a Man United manager, because there is no structure for him to work from, and it would crumble and it would fall apart, because everything we do is very short-termism. So we need to aim for more of a pragmatist and more of a short-term style manager. That is what we'd have to go and look for. 100, if that was to happen. But yeah, Saif, I'll come back to you in a second, Saif. Why you? What you saying, bro?
No, I just wanted to say before I head off, Hamza did it again.
Did he?
The City fan. Yeah, he did. He did. In the 52nd minute, he released a video on his TikTok clowning Manchester United.
Oh, he doesn't know.
Hang on, I've got it here. Hang on. He did it. He did it. Oh, I can't. I don't know if I can play it or not, because Hamza, stop using copyright music so that people can share your content without their channels maybe being shut down. Come on now, my friend.
Cheers,
Hamza. Cheers, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you, my G. I wanted to ask you boys this question as well. Me and KJ spoke about this off air earlier. I want the audience's participation on this as well. Do you think, I know they're not officially in for 5 to 6 weeks, but do you think the new owners or the new part owners being announced is going to maybe be a rocket up the backside of the manager, of these players, for them to raise their standards? Do you think that's going to have an impact, in your opinion, Cam?
100%. I think in any situation, if you've worked in business and you hear your company's being acquired, or you hear your company is being merged, or there's new, like the first thing everyone comes in is they evaluate the talent. And that goes for when it's a football team, it's the manager, it's the player, it's the coaching staff, it's the backroom staff, it's medical, it's everything. Everybody's now under evaluation. And if you truly want to be at United, if this is where you want to be, if this is a place that you love and you actually want to play for the team, you're taking a look around being like, what do I need to fix up to be here? I actually think this may be a wild take. I don't think we saw Jadon Sancho in January. I don't think so. I think what they're going to do is they're going to come in and they're going to assess the full team, and they're going to say, is this a player we may want to keep around if we move on from the manager? Because that's the problem. So I think if you're a Rashford, you have to be the most worried because Rashford, you have the most value. Regardless of what the world, all the haters say and shit. Oh, like we know you could sell Rashford tomorrow for a decent amount to a lot of clubs around the world. But if it's not working here, I can easily see them say, well, I'd rather just start fresh. We have these young kids coming up. If you're Erik Ten Hag, you're the most on the hot seat. That's like, let's be clear. Like if you're Erik Ten Hag, like that's the big one.
Yeah,
and you could see today though. Did you not see like you saw the relief in like when we scored? You could see the guys under pressure, and when we scored, you could feel it. Like he knows his job's on the line.
No, of course, yeah, and especially when I know it was the winning goal, but also when Rasmus scored, because I think that's his choice of player, and he needs him to deliver. But I think it's going to have a positive impact. I
think so too.
I don't know whether the second half was almost I'm not saying anybody burst into the changing room or anything along those lines, but these players. The reason why it's never worked before and why we've had spikes with new managers and it's dipped is because the overarching culture at the club hasn't been fixed. As long as the culture at the club, medium to long term, is fixed, the spike can maintain itself. The spike can with the right leadership.
I think it will be positive, but with a caveat. I don't think them just being there and evaluating things will be the reason why these guys like switch on and become better and the club change. I think it depends how long it takes for them to see heads roll. If as soon as this is ratified and completed by the Premier League and they see Murtaugh gone, if they see Ten Hag gone, if they see structural people within the club and some players in January just gone, I think that will switch people on. Be like, rah, like these men are serious. Like, yo, these guys have been here for how long? They're just acts real quick. However, if they take this long evaluation approach like the Glazers would do in this situation, and it's already in the summer, you see new people come in and players sold, I don't think there'll be much change. I genuinely think they will have to come in, short evaluation period, and be like, right.
So yeah, I mean, what you got to remember here is the valuation bit that has been in the papers today about 300 people being, that may take a little bit of time. That's evaluating the businesses in its entirety. When it comes to the footballing side of things, all the sort of Murtaughs and all these men are gone. Like, I think it's pretty well documented. They're going to be out straight away, and I think that's going to send out a rocket. I hope they remove almost the entirety of the recruitment team as well. And what my hope is that they've actually been working on a lot of this stuff now. So when they come in, they can hit the ground running, because that would have been the sensible thing to be doing. So I do agree that will send a shockwave through that, and that's what they need to do. They've got to send a shockwave through the dressing room. They really do.
I think the rocket will also not just people being gone, but like the replacement, right? So it's not just because I think what you're saying, KJ. The key part is cool. You can get rid of all these people, but if come August or July, June, whatever, we don't have a Paul Mitchell or Jean-Claude Blanc or we don't have those people in seats. Then you're right. It's just going to drag. So I think the key thing is when those guys are named, which I hope it happens in like March or April, just even if they're not there yet, they're saying come June. I think
it might be sooner than that, and you're right. It's like when Woodward went, we were buzzing, and all they did was replace him with his right-hand man. It was like,
and it was just like,
it's the same guy, but I agree. Viewers, hit the likes and share button. Remember, we're sponsored by BetMGM today, and if you're in the UK and over the age of 18, get the app downloaded. It's free. Every match week on the Premier League, so every time there's a round of games in the Prem, they give away £2 million if you correctly predict 6 Premier League scores. £2 million giveaway. You can become a millionaire. It's tax-free. Get the app downloaded now. The QR code's above Cam's head, or use a link in our live chat or description below and get yourself signed up now. I know hundreds and hundreds of you are now using it and having fun. You can also win £5,000 each match day week if you don't get all 6 right, but you get the most on the game. There's a prize pot of £5,000. So get that downloaded. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. I know it's late on Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day, or what do you call today in America? Canada, just the 26th of December.
Boxing Day.
Oh, you call it Boxing Day. Cool.
Go spend money day. That's it.
There we go. Listen, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. And well done again to Garnacho. And of course, I hope you all had a very